You want to know one of my favorite weird hobbies? I mean, every hobby I have is weird, but my favorite weird hobby is to watch a bunch of movies from like the mid-2000s, like mid-2000s teen comedies and 1980s teen romance movies, and watch them and see if I can point out when they hit every single beat on the Save the Cat beat sheet. They pretty much always do it. I'll be watching a movie with Tyler, we'll be having a beer, and I'm like, Tyler, drink every time it hits a beat from the beat sheet. Oh my goodness, we're in the promise of the premise. This has like a 35-minute long promise of the premise fun and game section. That's a little unbalanced, but that's pretty on par for mid-2000s teen comedy hijinks type of movies. This is way more fun than it should be, but the truth is story structure can be really fun even if it's kind of cliche. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a couple different types of story structure methods that I use. I'm going to be showing some examples, and I'm going to talk about what I do in my own writing process, both in projects I've worked on in the past and in brand new projects that are currently in the works for me. So if you are interested in some videos about writing, stick around. Hello friends, ASMR Savvy here to let you know that today's video was brought to you by my Patreon supporters. If you are an awesome small business supporter, you should see your name up here on the screen as a Patreon supporter. That is no shade to people who don't contribute to Patreons, y'all. Patreons are completely optional. In fact, just the fact that you're here on this channel watching this video, the fact that you probably saw at least 5 seconds of an ad play before this video, means that you are an awesome small business supporter because you are supporting me as a small creator. And if you want me to support you as a small creator, leave a comment below. Introduce yourself. Let me know who you are, because I'm here to make friends, everyone. But anyway, this is an extra special shout out right here to all of my Patreon supporters. You all are amazing small business supporters, and I am so glad that you are here. And that is why I'm recognizing you on the screen right now, friends. Don't forget that today's video was brought to you by them. I love you guys so much. What's up, my fellow small business supporters? It is Savvy, your gay aunt from the 80s, here today with another video about writing and author life. Real quick, before we get into all the content of this video, please check that you're subscribed to this channel, because every Monday and Friday morning I put out new videos about books, writing, small business owner life, and roasting business scammers who try to take advantage of us, because that's not cool. Also, every Wednesday night I host the AuthorTube sleepover on my channel, where we all get together, we wear our pajamas, we get some writing done. Anyway, moving on to the topic of today's video, which is story structure. So story structure is the 5th installment of the Wordstock series, also known as the AuthorTube seminar series. I will link up in the cards the playlist that I have of all the AuthorTube seminar series and Wordstock series videos that have been compiled so far. I might have missed some on my own playlist, so I'll also share in the description below Robert Jones Story Detective, his channel. He is the creator of this event, and he has done a wonderful job putting this together. Some background on what this is. In the Wordstock series, it's kind of like Woodstock, right? You go to Woodstock and everybody is listening to a million different kinds of music. All the different music comes up on stage, but they're all together for a similar appreciation of music, right? Maybe some people are there for the drugs. I'm not there for the drugs. I never went to Woodstock. I don't do drugs. Actually, I've heard that caffeine counts as a drug. I've heard that alcohol counts as a drug. I do drugs. Sorry, friends. Robert Jones Story Detective decided to take this concept and apply it to the author world. The fact is, as authors, we all have so many different ways that we approach the same topic to writing, whether that is story openings or tension and suspense, or how we write our dialogue. Regardless, we all have our own way that we approach it, and we all have different methods that work for us, but finding out about someone else's method can also spark something new in our brains, so it's kind of like a collaborative AuthorTubers all sharing their same take on a different topic. This week's topic is story structure, so I am excited to talk to y'all about the ways that I structure my stories. So the first one might seem kind of obvious, but I love the Save the Cat book. Now, I have only ever read Save the Cat, this one right here. I have never read Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I've heard good things about it. When I first heard about Save the Cat Writes a Novel, I was like, why is it by this Jessica Brody person? Why isn't it by Blake Snyder? Blake Snyder did a beautiful job writing Save the Cat. Why couldn't he just adapt it to novels? And then I found out, friends, that Blake Snyder is dead. So that was just a big blow to my emotions. Blake Snyder is dead, and I'm not over it. Anyway, I first read Save the Cat when I was taking screenwriting classes back in college, and if you guys saw my previous Wordstock video where I talked about my best tip for writing dialogue, which was to, you know, treat it like you're writing a screenplay, try writing it out as if you're writing a scene in a movie for your characters. So I like to take a screenwriting type of approach to writing all of my novels, essentially, because I feel like it really helps me focus on the action and the dialogue and keeping the story lively and moving forward. I read Save the Cat, and I used Blake Snyder's beat sheet to plot pretty much everything out in my novel, Sculpt Yourself. So for when coming up with the structure of Sculpt Yourself, basically what I did was to come up with the characters, right? I did free writes, I did all of that, and once I had a good, like, idea in my head of what each character's arc was going to be, I knew that I had to plot it out in a way that was going to make sense in a natural progression for the story. I had a premise, I had character arcs, but since there were 3 different perspectives and a bunch of different characters doing different things, I was like, I don't know how to make sure that everything flows smoothly and everything is paced right. You know what? Let's save the motherfucking cat. So for anyone who needs a breakdown of what the Save the Cat beat sheet looks like, it is basically like this. So the page number corresponds here with screenplay page numbers. So what I did was I just adapted that to like novel page numbers. Screenplays are broken down in approximately 1 minute per page, and that can vary. So if you have a page that is pretty much all action, right, it's condensed a little more, versus if you have dialogue within screenplay format, it's spaced out a lot more, so it can make a difference. But in general, the average is it's about 1 page per minute of film. So that's basically what this is here. So you know that, like, if you're having a 2-hour-ish film, you're going to reach the final image around page 110, maybe 120, but around there. So as long as you're within these ranges, you know that you're paced to be an average type of movie. Now, what I did when I was writing Sculpt Yourself for NaNoWriMo was I took this concept and I translated it to word counts. So, you know, I didn't know how many pages Sculpt Yourself was going to be, but I was imagining it would be around 50,000 words since 50,000 words was my NaNoWriMo goal, and 50,000 words is like an average shortish end novel. I wanted it to be on the shorter side, but not like a novella, so I was like, all right, I'll make this about 50,000 words. So that's what I did, and so I just kind of translated this into word counts, and I was like, when I hit around this word count, it'll be around this thing, it'll be around this thing when I hit this word count, and I did that. I wonder if I still have my Sculpt Yourself beat sheet. Hold up, let me find it. So here's the outline that I made back in like May or June of 2017 when I first wrote this. So look at that. First of all, that's kind of funny. All right, I had fun with that, but I just like to have fun with it. So anyway, I had character bios here and then a plot summary, but I did the plot summary in terms of the beat sheet, Save the Cat kind of thing, right? So I did opening image, setup, catalyst, debate. I had break into 2, promise of the premise, midpoint, and this was before I started writing it, so this was kind of my outline process. And then down here, I didn't know how it was gonna end before I started writing it. I had to like get into the book, and then I started realizing the end as I was writing it. So I was like, for break into 3, I don't know. Finale, don't know. Final image, help, I don't know how it's going to end. And then, oh my god, over here, update. Oh my god, this is funny to look back at stuff I wrote just 3 years ago. This is kind of funny. I've decided Amber and Kelly will end up back together at the end. I want a happy ending for the romance because I'm gonna make everyone ship them so hard. Oh my god. And then, yeah. Oh my god. So anyway, that was my Save the Cat style beat sheet for Sculpt Yourself. I had a lot of fun writing that. But when it comes to this new project that I'm working on, if you guys saw the other week, I put up a video where I announced that RK Gold and I are actually writing a novel together. And we've been doing a couple of live streams where we've been working on the outlining process, working on the character bio process, and for that, we are actually not using Save the Cat. We are using a different style of outline, which is this thing, the take off your pants outline. So this outline is, we found it on storyplanner.com. Storyplanner.com has like a few free story plans that you can use, and we've been like doing these exercises live on the stream while we've been working on these things. Project, why is it not letting me click on things? There we go. Oh my god. So before we came up with Before we came up with the title, Cancel Sean Boston, we were calling the book Pounded in the Butt by Sean Boston's Big Titty Goth Aesthetic. So like some Chuck Tingle inspiration there. So anyway, we were using this outline, which basically follows similar structure to Save the Cat. But it goes through starting with thinking about your characters first, which is also kind of what I did when I did Sculpt Yourself. It's just like I did them separately. It was like, here's the character arcs, now here's the plot outline, whereas this one's like, you're doing them all together. So thinking about your character and their flaw, and then you jump from the beginning straight to the end. You're like, how do you want this story to end? So since we are writing a new adult romance, we are like, okay, due to genre expectations, we should probably have an ending where the two main characters end up together, just so no one's disappointed. So we were thinking about our two main characters, and then we're like, end of the story, they're gonna end up together. So that kind of sets up a beginning and an end point, and then you have to figure out what goes on in the middle. And then we thought about goals and that kind of thing. And the thing is, like, we're writing alternating perspective, and when I wrote Sculpt Yourself, that was also alternating perspective. So for this, we kind of did it for two different characters and that kind of thing. Definitely check out the stream where we did this full exercise. It's on RK's channel. I'll link it up in the cards. But yeah, this whole thing really got us from a basic premise, which was me being like, there's going to be a story about two people who get into the world of online content creation to, you know, help with their careers when the world is socially distanced. And from there, they get swept up into online drama. And we went from that very basic premise to having like a complete outline where we knew both of the main characters who were going to fall in love with each other. We found our antagonist. His name is Sean Boston. Hashtag cancel Sean Boston. He is the fucking worst. Cancel Sean Boston, y'all. We're gonna make merch for that. I'm so excited. But anyway, so we went and then we came up with all of these pieces, and it basically goes through a structure where it then, when you're done with it, you click build my outline, and then it'll like compile a document where it puts all your things in order for you and sends it to you. I think if you have a paid plan, you can do more things for this. But I thought that this was really helpful, so we used this piece to kind of plan out our story beat by beat and figure out our outline for that. Now, if you want to know a novel that I did the whole pantsing method for, that was One Final Vinyl. That novel was me doing free writes in coffee shops. I was out there writing in notebooks over and over and over again, and just like putting my stream of consciousness thoughts down on paper, and that story is like 1000% character based. So the plot structure to that was less important to me than the character arc structure. So that story just grew from me figuring out what each of the main characters in that book were going to figure out over time. So that one structure was actually fairly like, I'm figuring this out as I go. And as a result, that one I had to do the most new drafts and the most revisions on as I went through it. But it also, I was really, really happy with how it turned out. So those are the different ways I do story structure. As it turns out, I can't stick to one story structure to save my life because, you know what? Variety is the spice of life, friends, and I think we should all just try as many new things as we can until all of our faces turn blue. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Please check out all the other videos related to Wordstock and the AuthorTube seminar series, which again, I've linked up in the cards, and I've linked Robert Jones' Story Detective down in the description below. You need to check out his channel. Not only does he do awesome story type of things where he breaks down stories like a detective would, he also does tech reviews, right? Because it's like story detective. You know, he's a whole pun in addition to being an awesome author tuber. And he did an excellent review of this, which is the Alpha Smart Neo 2, which I am not sponsored by, but I just want to show off because I love this machine, you guys. I love this. I love writing stories on this. Anyway, check out Robert's channel. I will see you guys all again soon. In the meantime, though, don't forget to support small businesses, friends. Happy Saturday!